Hi there, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero Roundtable with me, your host, Simon Conboy. With me today, we've got Arnie.
Hey, guys.
And Dan.
Oh, hello.
So, only 2 weeks left of the regular season till we're in full playoff mode. The vast majority of the league is eliminated now.
Yeah.
This weekend, I think, really did help clean things up a bit, particularly in the NFC where it was looking a little bit messy.
Yeah.
But, things are a lot clearer now.
Yeah, your Bucks only had one job to do, man. One job.
Hey, they played reasonably. I actually have, well, I say reasonably. The offense was fine. Defense was terrible. I'm not going to complain about them too much this week.
You were eliminated before.
Oh, yeah, we were eliminated a long time ago. But it's fine. So what we'll do, as Dan suggested earlier, we'll go through the playoff teams and the teams that still have a shot at getting there just very, very quickly, whether we think they can make it. If there's any kind of disagreements, then maybe we'll have to go into a bit of a discussion. So we'll get the easy ones out of the way. The Vikings, I think we all think they're a contender.
For real. Yeah, they're for real.
Yeah, they're a legitimate team.
Even with their mighty backup backfield. No Dalvin Cook, no starting QBs. Also, really good to see Teddy Bridgewater back.
It was really good, but I felt so bad.
What?
Like your first throw. I mean, it wasn't totally his fault, but I felt so bad. I was like, oh, just can't have that, storybook comeback there.
Good thing it was a meaningless pick. Otherwise, that would have been tragic. So, not much to say there. For me, actually, the Vikings are probably one of the 3 or 4 teams I could see winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
I really do rate that team that highly. The Eagles, I think, is a bit more of an interesting one, though. Because, of course, I thought Foles actually...
He looked good.
At the score, I think you'd maybe think that Foles was poor in this one. I actually think the team around him let him down, particularly the defense.
I think Eli just had a way with that team. I think, definitely Eli's best game of the season.
Yeah, but their defensive line's been so strong all year.
They had to have one game where they
We'll get to that game later, but that one's got me a little bit concerned. So I'm going to just think it was a blip. And if Foles can continue to play at that level, they're a contender. But I'm edging towards not. But for the minute, I'll go with contender.
I'm a pretender with them. I've obviously said before with their sort of record against face and stuff, they've only beaten a couple of legit teams.
So, I can't blame them for that.
Yeah, but I just, especially from what I saw this week's game as well, it's just like they're facing a Giants team with 2 wins, and that should have been a comfortable game for them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. So for me, they're a pretender. Only on the edge of it, though. They're like in the middle, if you know what I mean, but just slightly edging.
Fair enough. Dan, where are you at on the Eagles?
Oh, so I get the deciding vote. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to argue with Arnie's logic here. They've beaten very few teams above 500 this year.
It really comes down to whether you think Foles is good enough.
I think Foles is, but I think nearly losing to the Giants of all teams has maybe exposed them a bit more. They're not a bad team by any means, but no, I'm gonna actually have to go with Arnie on this and say pretender.
Fair enough. Well, we'll go through the NFC South teams quickly. The Saints, I think they're a contender. I think this is a really well balanced team. They've not got any kind of gaping flaws at the moment.
Yeah. The thing is,
Michael Thomas has been playing really well lately as well. Gives them.
Yeah. I mean, when the run game is struggling, you've got Drew Brees. When the passing game is struggling, you've got Alvin Kamara and the 2-headed attack with Alvin Kamara and
Ingram.
Ingram. His name eluded me there. And even then, the receivers are playing really well. I thought Willie Snead would have a bit more of a factor this year, but alas, I was wrong.
They're just not
but yeah, No, they're not. But even then, the game management, Sean Payton has done a great job this year with that team.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely for real. 100%.
And defensive, shocking turnaround, but they're pretty good on that side of the ball. Marshawn Lattimore, easy defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we all had this team pegged for one of the worst defenses.
Oh, yeah, because it's been like 4 or 5 years of that being the case. Rookies at the problem.
Yeah.
Work, but yeah, it has. And rebuilding that linebacker core, I think, is the key to this team's sudden competence defensively. How about you, Dan? Are you on the Saints?
No, the Saints are legit. They always have been, even with the defensive woes they had at the start of the year. But the defense stepping up just pushed them into contention for getting to the Super Bowl. So, no.
Who is around with that bag? Because it's really
just noises.
Right, so we're all on the Saints. How about the Panthers? I think it's tough because this team seems to elevate their level of play when they play against the good teams this year. And with the quality of that defense, they can also contend. Their offense,
I'd say,
it together. It's just, I'm a firm believer in defensive teams come playoff time.
Yeah. For that reason, I mean, we know Cam Newton can be a game changer as well. Defense has played great all year. Yeah, for real.
I mean, that's kind of my problem with them is, you know, they can do everything else so well, and it does kind of just hinge on whether Cam can put this offense over the top or hold them back. But he's been playing a lot better late. Well, it's still a bit up and down, but there's not those massive lows there were early in the season where he had some shockers. How about you, Dan?
I don't know, because there's still something about that team I don't like.
I think it's fair. They're a probably easily, I'd say, the most flawed team of those we've talked about so far.
I mean, you two have said what? Both think legit.
I think they can. Like just about, and that's simply because I think they've played well against the other good teams this year. Yeah, they beat the Vikings, they beat the Patriots.
No, but when it comes to crunch time, I'm going to say pretender, because Cam Newton showed in the past, you know, sometimes he just can't be asked. So, no, I think the Panthers are a pretender at this point.
Fair enough. Well, we've got the Falcons as well, rounding out the NFC South. I've been saying all year that this is a pretty average team. I stand by that statement. They've not convinced me at all in the last few weeks. They've got on a bit of a winning streak. But the offense just doesn't look quite right in the passing game. Defensively, they don't do anything particularly well. I think this team will probably struggle to win a playoff game if they even make it there. So easy pretender for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, you know I'm going to disagree with this.
You have been on that bandwagon. Do you not think Brian's been very average this year?
He has, but you know they've won the games they needed to. They've done well where they needed to. So, I mean, I'll take the Falcons over the Panthers. That's for damn sure.
Not sure. I disagree with that.
I'll take consistently average over consistently up and down with the Panthers.
Well, that would be consistently inconsistent. Detroit, they're on the fringe. They can still make it. Easy pretender for me. This team is not great. Relying on just Matthew Stafford and a pretty good receiving group, turnovers is not going to get the job done in the playoffs. They're easy pretender.
Yeah, again, agree with that. I don't have more to say on that, unfortunately.
Yeah, not going to disagree.
I've been making this same argument all year, and I stand by it. The Seahawks. I mean, normally I'd say contender, but we've seen the last couple of weeks these injuries. I don't even know if they make it now at this point. And with all the injuries they've got, Russell Wilson cannot overcome this shoddy O-line, non-existent run game, and a defense that is, suddenly middle of the pack to bad.
Yeah. I mean, we saw in that Rams game. I mean, I haven't seen Seattle lose like that in a
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Dan?
I still want to say, I'm still going to say legit, just because I still think I still think they can pull stuff out when needed on crunch time. For now, I'm going to keep that for now. But I'm sort of, it's like same with the Eagles, but I'm edging lower down.
Fair enough. Dan, where do you lie on the Seahawks?
Oh no, they're obviously a pretender. I mean, you don't lose by that much at home to the Rams and it not basically kill your season.
This is just an example of injuries can kill a team.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, we'd be having an entirely different discussion. And also the Rams, who we oddly didn't mention there. I don't think they're ready for the playoffs. I think this team is a pretender. I like this Rams team. I just think it's a year too early. I think it's one of those they'll have a really big game in the playoffs, and I think they'll choke.
Really?
Like, can you imagine, for example, this is a perfectly plausible wildcard game. They host the Panthers. I just can't envisage the Rams winning that game.
No, I think the Rams are legit.
Fair enough. Is that because of the Sean McVay factor or just the overall sort of balance of the team?
I think overall.
Fair enough. Arnie? Is he gone?
I don't know. We'll carry on. Arnie will say they're legit anyway. Arnie likes the Rams.
Fair enough. And we'll toss this one out quickly because I think we're all in agreement. The Cowboys, I don't think they make it, but I don't think they can win a playoff game. I'm not sure there's quite enough there. They have got things together a bit as of late, getting some of those players back. Of course, Zeke will be back, but I don't see them as one of the more talented teams in the NFC at this point in time.
No, the pass rush is there, but
he's back.
There's too. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The defense is just there's too many holes in their secondary. We've seen it all year.
Fair enough. Well, we're assuming you said the Rams were legit.
Yeah. I was just about to say that before I got disconnected.
Fair enough. So we'll head on over to the AFC, where I expect there to be a lot more pretenders. So we'll get the easy two out of the way. Steelers and Patriots.
Yeah, they're for real.
Not really much to talk about with those two teams. Both clearly very good teams.
Yes.
That was a very good game on Sunday.
May I also add, I recommend both teams be renamed to, respectively, the Tom Brady's and the Antonio Browns.
I don't know. The Steelers didn't have Brown for much of that game, and they still looks pretty good.
Yeah, but throughout the year, come on now.
No, it's like Roethlisberger said, if you've got a player that good, you give him the ball.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the current 3 seed, the Jags.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Because on the current sort of little run they're on, they've really impressed me. Bortles is playing well enough with that defense, and if Fournette can get healthy, they've got kind of the recipe there to be one of those ugly Super Bowl winning teams. However, it's Blake Bortles at quarterback. Got to do more than 3 weeks to win me over on this one. So they're a pretender to me.
Defense is legit. Offense is a pretender.
And what does that equal?
I'm going to go contender just because of how strong the defense is. And we've all seen defenses do this. I mean, we're going to look back to the Ravens here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm still going to say contender, as much as it pains me to.
Wait, hold
Dan?
on a second here. I know everyone's willing to jump on this defense bandwagon, but with the exception of beating up on teams that are legitimately terrible and couldn't pass their way out of a wet
You
paper
can't
bag,
blame them for their schedule.
no, I'm not
Just because-
blaming them
The,
for their
the fact is,
schedule.
the defense is they still won them games.
Yeah,
And
they beat the
it's got-
Steelers. They've beat
They
the
lead the
Seahawks.
league
Hold on,
in
no.
points from a defense.
I know, but this is whether or not the team's a legit playoff contender. They're going to be facing teams that are, funnily enough, over 500. But it is the AFC, I suppose. I see where the trouble lies. I'm going to say pretender. I don't believe in the defense is really good. I just don't believe in the team. I really don't. I mean, they got beaten by the Cardinals. God damn it!
That's the easiest one. I think this one could be interesting. The Chiefs, they seem to have got their mojo back a little bit.
Yeah.
Lies.
So,
For me, this is an easy one. I still think they're a pretender until they've been so up and down all year. Is it going to continue like that? Are they just going to be up for the next couple of games and then come playoff time be down again? So for me, I have to say pretender until I see otherwise.
yeah, Dan.
Pretender.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Dropping.
pretender until I see a bit more from the defense.
You
Saw a
can't-
bit of it against the Chargers, but the offense for me has got back on track. It looks, but
You can't
not
drop.
the defensively than they've been.
You can't drop that many games and be considered a legitimate playoff contender. There's obviously something went wrong. Who's to say it's not going to happen again?
Oh yeah, in the next two they'll be 10-6 as a perfectly reasonable record. So who else? Goodness, the wild card scene in the AFC. Ugh.
Next one's a pretender.
So we'll start with Buffalo. They're a pretender. I really like this team and I root for them, but yeah, they're not.
The next five we're about to talk about, they're all pretenders.
In fact, yeah, that's what we'll throw out there. Is there anyone of the Ravens, the Titans, the Bills, I guess the Chargers, but they need so much to happen to get in. And have we got anyone else?
Are you talking about what's listed on the NFL site or in the real world?
In the real world.
No.
Because
the Bills, Ravens, Titans, Chargers, and Raiders.
I'm not including Raiders. Again, we'll go in real world here.
Okay, then. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think they're all pretenders. The Titans' offense, we've talked about a million times. We'll talk about it a bit more later. Enough said. The Chargers, I don't even think they make it in at this point. That game on Sunday.
For me,
if they make it in, I think they're legit. But
for me, the problem that I'm going to have, and this is my argument on why they're pretenders at the moment, the offense is there, the defense is there. The choking in games is also a factor you have to take in. We've seen it on countless amounts of times, and that's why they're a pretender for me. It's those late antics in games.
In the Chargers' case, it's that terrible start of the season. You could maybe argue they choked at the weekend, but they're 7-3 in the last 10 games. That's really good. 0-4,
but
not so
when
good.
They have lost, it's because they've choked.
Yeah.
For me, I just can't believe a team is going to do well in the playoffs when they're known for choking.
Yeah, and I think the Ravens, I think we can all agree, that offense is not good enough.
Yeah, it's the same as the Jags, but a lot worse.
Yeah, and then Buffalo, they're just not good enough. They're not ready. They've done a great job this year, but...
No, they're not ready at all.
Cool. So there we go. Was going to do the QB discussion, but that went a bit long enough for us, so we'll save that one, I think. Still got a couple of weeks for some of these guys maybe to change our opinions. So we'll get into the slate of games. One thing, just because it is a big bit of news, I feel we do need to talk about it. This Jerry Richardson thing. So anyone want to speculate wildly, or are we in the boat I'm in where 95% sure something racial is being kept under wraps for that exact reason.
Given the way this whole year has panned out, yes.
Any other conspiracies out there, or are we all on the he's done something racist? They're gonna bury it as deep as they can.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. There's no way you could have seen him selling the team, barring something absolutely scandalous. Do we think this is like a Clippers scenario?
Possibly.
Dan, do you remember this Clippers thing, or did you not follow that when it?
No. I think most people have heard with what happened with the Clippers. To be honest, it was the.
Do you think it's I think it's a similar situation.
I think it is, and the NFL is doing a better job of keeping it under wraps.
Yeah, I can't necessarily blame them, but there's a part of me that feels a need to know.
Well, the best thing to come out of it is a bunch of what I'm guessing are celebrity twats going, yeah, we're gonna put money together to buy the team. And I think one of the guys made a 1-minute video talking about how he's gonna buy the team, and in the video he
said the team name wrong.
Said
he was going to sign Kaepernick
to give him the shot, and we've got Cam Newton.
Yeah,
and something about the halftime show.
Let's replace Cam Newton with not as good version of Cam Newton. That makes sense.
Yeah. If you need to know who that is, that was P. Diddy.
It was P. Diddy, I thought so. But can we also point out here that, while I'm sure he's a fairly successful man with his shit music, we're talking billions to buy a team, not whatever music makes you, which is pocket. I mean, not even
hard for some of these big celebrity like music moguls and stuff to get a consortium together.
Yeah, and also let's also not forget, as successful and as ridiculously rich as he is, not even Simon Cowell could outright buy an NFL team. You need like old world oil money to buy an NFL team at this point. I mean, come on.
Here's an interesting one though. Is there a celebrity that you like enough that they could get you to change your allegiance?
No, don't say that, because Arnie's going to say the same thing he always will.
What's that?
Arnie will say Bryan Cranston.
That would be cool, but he's a Rams fan.
The Carolina Meth.
Well, it is Carolina.
Actually, if they were called the Carolina Heisenbergs,
that would be pretty cool.
It would be. And if he turned up to every game as Heisenberg and coached. There we go. That's the one way they can make me a fan. Bryan Cranston buys the team and fully character acts as freaking Heisenberg, as the owner coach, like a warped Jerry Jones for the whole season. Like even
he
just
does
one
love football, and he does know his stuff about football. So
I just want Walter White on the sideline coaching an NFL team. Actually, they could call them the Carolina Danger.
Yeah.
That would be great. So we all know on that. I just always think, like Quid, you've probably got the flimsiest of allegiances of all.
Uh-huh.
You've probably got the flimsiest of allegiances of all of us.
Dream.
Like, I don't know, if Will Smith bought the Eagles, I could see you maybe edging your way there.
Will Smith should totally buy the Eagles. That would be amazing.
Call them the Fresh Princes.
And no, they are my Cardinals. As messed up as they are.
There's only two people that would even consider buying the Titans, and that's, if I think of the celebrities that know the Titans, I'm pretty sure it's Miley Cyrus. Woo.
Probably like half the country music world, to be honest.
Yeah, but I don't know them.
Yeah,
and Justin Timberlake, considering the fact that Justin Timberlake already owns part share of the Memphis Grizzlies.
You could be looking at Peyton Manning as well.
He wouldn't do that.
No, but I mean, he's from Tennessee.
I certainly see him GMing.
No, he's not from Tennessee. He went to Tennessee.
Yeah, they're from Louisiana. Bear in mind, where their dad played.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
All the southern states all kind of blur into the same thing to me.
Hey man, the Mannings are as deep south as it gets. You got the guy who plays QB for the played QB for the Saints, and then you got Ole Miss and Tennessee in college.
Yeah.
That's growing up deep south. All right, so let's move on to the games. The first game, Colts-Ravens, one of the biggest grudge matches of sorts in the league, or at least for older fans. Not so much these days. So, who do we see winning this one? I mean, the Colts, they continue to be a mess. The Ravens, they actually showed some offense, but it was against the Browns. So,
Okay, they did the week before against the Steelers as well.
yeah. That was a weird one for me. The Ravens have been more impressive as of late. Alex Collins has really helped them. I think they'll win this game comfortably. The way the Colts are just as bad on paper a team as this league has seen in a while.
Yeah,
I think Brissett started to suffer a little bit of that shell shock from playing behind such a bad O-line all year. That I think the Ravens need this as well. They'll win it comfortably.
Yeah, I've got the Ravens. I need the Colts to win, but I've got the Ravens.
Dan, can you see your man Brissett pulling the upset here?
It'd be nice to, but he is, as you say, completely shell-shocked. So,
and it's in Baltimore. Those fans are going to be going nuts.
Yeah, true. This is their last grasp of making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they got a pretty legit shot.
They've still got to face the Browns again.
Yeah, they got a pretty legit shot. They win both their games. They only need a loss from either Tennessee or Buffalo, and they're in. And Buffalo and Tennessee certainly have harder matchups than the Ravens do. So next up, we got what would have been my game of the week. It was so close, but alas, Aaron Rodgers couldn't take the game to overtime and get the win. And the thing that's so heartbreaking to me with that one is Rodgers, for a few picks, looked a little bit rusty in this game, played pretty well. But had they won that game, having, pulled a massive comeback and won in overtime, this team would have a feeling of invincibility at this point after the escapes they had against the Buccaneers and against the Browns. If they'd then escaped Carolina 3 weeks in a row of just these absurd overtime victories, they would feel like a real team of destiny, especially going up against the team that injured Rodgers in the first place. Instead, no, Aaron Rodgers is now on IR. So for that reason, the Vikings, there's not even anything to say about the Bengals game. They annihilated them.
Yes.
It was the epitome of a late season beatdown on a bad team with nothing to play for, a good team with everything to play for. We'll see a similar thing this week. The Vikings are going to walk into Lambeau. No doubt we'll see good effort from the Packers, but they are not stopping this team.
No way.
It would be a tough ask with Aaron Rodgers, but with... yeah. I can't see any success here for the Pack.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on that one as well. It is exactly as you said. It's a team with something to play for and a team with nothing to play for, and it's going to show.
And the talent gap is big. Without Aaron Rodgers, the talent gap is massive between these two lines.
Yes, there is.
Dan, care to offer a counter argument?
No.
I think I summed that one up pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really needs to say anything more.
But I was a little bit too thorough, if anything. Next up, we've got the Cat Derby as the Lions head to Cincy to take on the Bengals. Man, the Bengals were awful. Marvin Lewis is on his way out. Like, if there's a reason for this team to look even less motivated, they don't even have to impress their current head coach. And the Lions...
It's going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions, they beat the Bears. The Bears aren't very good, so
They did it in a pretty comfortable fashion as well.
Yeah,
I don't think there was never ever a doubt of the
It's kind
Lions
of like
losing that game.
those victories we were talking about, like when the Chargers beat the Browns. Like it wasn't a drubbing, but they were in control throughout. It never felt like the result was in doubt. And yeah,
this is just the problem I've got with the Lions is they just cannot get the running game going, and it's affecting it so much.
Defensively, it's just they're really concern me. It's just this Bengals team is just a mess right now. They're circling the drain. Things have really gone downhill. Offensive line's terrible. The defense, without Perfect, they're a much worse team, and they looked a bit lazy at the weekend. So I've got the Lions here.
Yeah, I've got the Lions here.
Not going to disagree.
It's that time of year. It's a bit easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit.
Next up, we got the Dolphins against the Chiefs. Wasn't this like the most Jay Cutler thing ever? Like, Monday Night Football, I'm going to outplay Tom Brady to keep this team alive and give people some hope, and people be like, maybe Cutler's finally comfortable. And then he takes a giant dump on the field against the Bills.
Yeah.
Like, if they'd won that game, they had an outside shot, but they had a shot. They even got the jammy onside kick at the end of the game. And what does Cutler do? Immediately throws a bonehead pick. He was really, really poor in this game. The Dolphins were probably the better team for the majority. Like, the Bills started the game well and then just fell off a cliff. But Jay Cutler mistakes doomed them. The Chiefs seem to have got back on track. They're at Arrowhead again.
Yeah, I see it. And this is
for it, but it's hard.
I still see it being a one-sided affair.
Could well do. How about you, Dan? We've both got the Chiefs here.
I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs against Miami, regardless of what they may or may not do against a very unlucky Pats team. Jay Cutler is still Jay Cutler.
This is the team that gave the Giants a win. Don't forget.
Yeah, this year's Giants.
This is also the team that got, if I remember correctly, completely blown out in London.
Had some strange games this year. So we'll move on from this one. We're all in agreement. We've got the Bills heading to New England. The Bills in one of those playoff spots right now. They've got it all to play for. But it's...
No chance.
It's not like they're going to catch the Patriots sleeping. Like, the Pats have the inside lane on getting that first round bye. Number one seed. And they're just better than this Bills team.
Yeah.
I like this.
I think the Bills are going to challenge them.
Yeah, the Bills have the pieces you need, I think, to beat this team. They can rush with 4 down linemen. The secondary's talented. They can run the ball. In fact, I'm going for the Bills. The Bills pull the upset here. If the Dolphins can beat them, the Bills can. I'm going with the Bills.
I'm sticking with the Pats.
Sean McCoy has the game of his life, damn it. I'm going to go bold. This has been too predictable so far.
I'm going Pats. I'm sticking safe for this one.
You know I don't need much to pick the Bills. Like, I do not need too much poking to go, yeah, Bills.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I see them challenging. I really do, but I just, no. No against Brady. No.
Dan, how about you?
This is going to be a hard-fought game. I don't know if there's a team that can pull off a miracle at the last second. I do kind of want the Bills to get into the playoffs, though.
Who's at home?
Yeah, well, that hasn't meant anything this season for the Pats.
It is December.
It is December in New England. Now I can't not.
Yeah, you can't really argue. It's going to be cold and windy in Boston when you're like, it's the Bills. I'm sure they're fine.
Unless, right, the Pats win. Okay, unless it snows, in which case LaShawn McCoy wins.
Yeah, yes, he does. We'll move on to nobody's game of the week, unless you're a Bears fan who really wants to see a win, or the Brown. This is probably the Brown shot. This is the Brown.
It's not going to happen. I want to see 0-16.
But
so do I.
I mean, they deserve it. It feels like they've earned it. and it is in Chicago. If the Browns are going to get a win, they get it here. I'm going with it. I'm going for the Browns.
No, it's not storytelling enough. Their first win has to be in Cleveland.
Not in Cleveland over the team that used to be Cleveland.
No, it's not storytelling enough. Their first win needs to be when they fire their shit head coach.
No, the most storytell thing to do, let's face it, is go 4-0 in the preseason and 0-16 in the regular season.
What, like the Lions already did?
Yeah, exactly.
That's already happened, so it's less interesting. But
it's still interesting.
Yeah. There's not even much to say about the Browns or the Bears games last week. The Browns were typically, like, Deshaun Kaiser continues to make horrific decisions. The defense plays okay. They're not got a lot of talent on offense. The Bears, yeah, they're. I like some of these Bears players, but they're not the most fun team to. But they're the most John Fox team I've ever seen. But I think they would. No, I'm going Browns in this one. Dang it.
No, I'm going Bears.
Fair enough. So next up, we got the Bucks heading to Carolina to take on the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers are my arch nemesis, so I'm picking Bucks here, even though I don't feel great about it. I mean, I do want to talk about the Bucks Monday night performance a little bit because I was proud of the way this team played. Whilst the defense was awful, once again, no pass rush, couldn't tackle anyone. I mean, half the blooming defense was missing. I mean, Robert Ayers got injured early in this one. Gerald was missing.
It looked like that. It looked like that on the field. There was a couple of plays where
no Gerald McCoy. TJ Ward was out of the lineup like a yo-yo. Vernon Hargraves was missing. The number 3 corner, Ryan Smith, he got injured early in the game. Came back in, but didn't quite look healthy. Yeah. And, I mean, there was a guy at defensive end in the fourth quarter. I didn't even know who he was. And
some random bum from the practice squad.
yeah, it was. Cameron Brake got injured. He came back in the second half. OJ Howard got injured, missed most of this one. Had his one catch on the second drive, then he was gone. Deshaun Jackson was gone like the second drive. Lost the right guard, J.R. Sweezy, which was fine because he's not very good in my opinion. But yeah, this team competed hard. Like, if the one thing that you can argue for Dirk Cutter, it might work in his favour, is this team hasn't quit. Outside of that second half of the Saints game, there's been good effort all year. And Jameis had himself a day. He played really well in that one. Was definitely the better of the 2 QBs on the field on the night. And it was the Bucks lost this game because they just didn't have the bounce, really. 2 fumbles for Devonta Freeman. One of them ends up a Falcons touchdown. The other one they recover. The Bucks have a fumble when they're in field goal range and the Falcons recover. That was really the biggest difference in the game. So I was happy with that. The Panthers feel like a really bad matchup for the Bucks at the minute, but dang it. The Bucks have played well enough these last few games and they've been so close. I feel like they're going to win one of these last couple of games. And as well as the Panthers played against the Packers, I think this is the one. Bucks get it done for me because they know I really, really dislike the Panthers.
I'm going to go with the Bucks. Just I think there's something that's going to go wrong in Carolina. I see the management thing having a slight effect. It won't have a massive effect, but I see it having a bit of effect on the team.
Falcons to be a winning in game.
Yes.
Which would be
so I've got
really
the Bucks to kind of a bit dampen the Carolina's chances. So yeah, I'm going Bucks here.
Panthers can clinch with a win, so they're going to be heavily motivated. But yeah, I'm going Bucks. Let's go. Yeah, I want Jameis to play, give another performance like that, then I can feel real good about life. And Dan, do we need to ask?
I'm going to go Bucks.
We're unified in the upset of the week.
Well, they showed me they can compete again when they played the Falcons, I guess. So
Well, hopefully they'll have their good defensive back.
Still a bad team, but you never know.
Yeah, well, like I say, the effort has been there. It's the one positive I can take these last few weeks, and the season's been truly dead. Next up, we've got the Falcons and the Saints, another NFC South match. I mean, the Falcons can win the division if they win out, but this is in New Orleans. I thought the Falcons were pretty lucky in that first game. Ryan has struggled a couple of weeks in a row now. He was really poor, I thought, against the Bucs. Some misreads, just some really bad misses. He just didn't make like the big mistake that cost him the game, but he almost did that a couple of weeks ago against the Saints. Something about this Falcons team just doesn't feel quite right, like they're not quite clicking. The Saints, they've got Kamara back. I think they'll win this game comfortably. I don't like this Falcons defense at all. I think the Saints will tear them apart.
Yeah, Saints are rolling. Keep rolling. That's pretty much all I have to say on that one.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
No, Saints at home, right? Just a tough one. Even when the Saints are bad at home, Drew Brees in the dome. Tough one. Next up, this is the epitome of a late season snoozer. The Broncos in Washington to play the Redskins. The Redskins made big defensive plays to beat the Cardinals. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
Blaine
Gabbert. We did say last week Blaine Gabbert was due his pick, and it happened.
Yeah, there was the fumbles in this one. The Cardinals' inability to convert in the red zone. I'm really feeling for Kirk Cousins when I watch this team at the minute. It's tough for him. So much of the talent around him's missing on offense, and he's playing.
He might have been looking at his next team he just faced.
He could be looking at his next team. Cousins to the Broncos. Haven't thought of it. That would be interesting.
Well, the last couple of weeks he's got to see what these two teams have to offer, and
this was actually the most damning thing about the Colts last week. They made Brock Osweiler look like an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
So, I think the Redskins win this one. It's Brock Osweiler. I'm not picking Brock Osweiler. And this Redskins team is what they lack in talent due to injuries, they make up for in grit.
Yeah, I'm going to go just based on the QB battle alone. I'm sticking with Kirk Cousins from last week, as I did. Redskins for me.
Dan?
I'll go Redskins. I mean, it's the Broncos of 2017. There's no belief there.
Fair enough. And sure, the very highly anticipated game for Arnie, where he looks at the other team's offensive coach with Google eyes, thinks of
this is, you know what? For me, this is actually a game where I'm just looking at it going, okay, well, I like both of these teams, so fair enough.
It's just you're just going to be making like the cartoon love heart eyes at McVay all game.
But
have a montage at half time of you and him holding hands, skipping through a field. Mariota throwing like accurate passes out of a creative scheme where your wide receivers contribute.
Yeah.
And you use your young, talented running back.
I feel like this is a lot of sarcasm here.
Actually, what's going on? This is, I think, for real. The Rams.
There's going to be a lot of no huddle by the Titans in this game, put it that way.
Well, I'm willing to crown McVay Coach of the Year now. I think, like most people.
Finally.
It's going to happen.
I crowned him in the off-season.
Oh, yeah, but now there's no doubt about it. So he's taken the cruising Rams, who look to have this division all but sewn up, the Tennessee to face the, I would say slumping, but really their performance hasn't been much different. Like the Titans have been consistent this year.
Yeah, we have. In the fact that we've been bad.
Very poor offense.
I mean, one thing in this game that we might actually have to our advantage is we might be able to slow Todd Gurley down.
Yeah.
You never know. If we can slow him down enough, then you never know. But this is the one time all year that I just don't see a chance at all. I see this Rams. I'm going against my team for the first time ever. I just can't see it.
I'm going with your other team.
I'm going with the Rams in this one. I have to. The way they've been playing all year, the way the Titans have been playing all year. I mean, come on, it's the right pick.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to make that wake-up call argument for the Titans, but they've had so many opportunities.
We've had so many opportunities. Look at the defenses we've played this year.
Yeah, I've talked about the wake-up call 100 times for the Titans this year, and it's not happening.
Exactly, and it's not going to happen.
I
still thinking last week, I think was, as you said earlier, it's not much to go on, but that was still definitely Mario's best performance last week. He definitely looked a lot sharper than he has all year. He was calling most of the plays, and the offense definitely looked better when he was calling the plays. I disagree with the 3rd and 2 call. That actually Mariota didn't call that. That was actually on Robitsky, but that kind of sums up our year. Yeah, that 3rd and 2 call. I don't know why we didn't run with Derrick Henry.
We do briefly need to talk about the Rams Seahawks game. What was that from the Seahawks?
That was.
Look into the future.
How many points? Like, had the Rams not basically benched everyone? How many points could they?
I think Gurley would have probably brought a touchdown right.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle are a mess right now. That game is absolutely mental. Next up, then. So, in fact, Dan, who have you got?
Rams.
Yeah, we'll all got the Rams there. So we'll move
the only
on.
thing in that game is Tennessee have been really good at home all year. I don't see that playing into a factor.
The one thing, you've also got the Rams coming across the country for an early game. Sometimes that can help. I haven't seen enough Titans.
No, I haven't either. As I said, against my team, but I just haven't seen enough, unfortunately.
So the Flaming Thumbtack loses to the Goat Head. So next up, the LA Chargers. Oh, what could have been taking on the Jets. Damn it, Chargers.
This game did have importance.
They just... I don't know what it is with this team. They impress everyone. They've come like the alternative, trendy team of choice. And then they take a giant dump. A critical point. They scratch and claw. They go 7-2 over 9 weeks. Have a shot at leading the division. And they just don't play well against a slumping Chiefs team. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a carryover here and the Jets sneak this one. The Jets continue with their fascinating ability to hang tough. They played pretty well, especially after falling behind against the Saints. That looked like it was going to be a beatdown, but they hung in there. And, you know, for bringing me in just to trick me like that, I'm going for the Jets.
I'm going with the Chargers. I said they'd lose one game and win 2 games. I said the loss would be last week, and I'm saying the next 2 they win.
Fair enough. Dan?
Chargers.
They are the better team. There's no question there. So next up, we've got the Jags and the Niners. Now this becomes an interesting game for me.
Niners win.
Like Garoppolo evaluation. We've all been very impressed with Garoppolo. Yeah. Very, very impressed.
Very.
Not a lot of talent around him, but he has elevated the play of that team.
Oh, he's undefeated, isn't he, since starting?
He is. and he was great last week.
It was.
Definitely make the argument he's the reason the team won that game. I mean, he had nearly 40 yards.
Yeah, 100%. He was the reason they won that game.
I mean, they've also got. I mean, San Francisco playing for nothing at this point, bar tanking their first-round draft pick.
Well, they're doing a terrible job of tanking.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the Niners have got one advantage going into this game. Not that much film on Garoppolo. That's the main advantage they've got.
Well, the issue with picking the Niners here is the talent deficit between that Niners offense and the Jags defense is shocking.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go with my upset of the week here, and I'm going to go with the Niners.
I don't want that hype bandwagon around Garoppolo getting too big. Otherwise, we can't.
I don't think it would get too big, but
next year or anything, because everyone will be on.
No. I just think the Jags are due a loss at this point in time, and I mean, it would be a very AFC South / Jags thing to do for the Titans to manage to somehow pull out a win, the Jags to lose and keep the division till the last week, as it has done for a while.
To me, this Jags team's got it rolling lately, and I think the Niners will put up a fight, keep this game competitive, but the Jags, they'll make a big play defensively at some point in this one. Garoppolo's going to face a crazy amount of pressure behind that line. I think the Jags win. They're just the more talented team. They're playing well at the minute, and they'll probably have Fournette back, so...
No, I'm going with the upset here.
Fair dues.
I want Garoppolo to finish the season with an undefeated record.
Yeah, me too. It means they'll have a better record than the Bucks. We get a better draft pick. Go team. So next up, we've got Seahawks Cowboys. This is loser is done. So this becomes a really interesting game.
Unless they tie. If they tie, they're done. Both done.
Zeke is back. The Cowboys are at home. And I watched the Seahawks last week. So I've got the Cowboys who played quite well last week, I thought.
Yeah. Well, I've watched the Seahawks all year and they cannot stop the run.
Not with all these injuries, no. So I think
even when
Zeke is going to be fresh as a daisy as well.
Even when they didn't have the injuries, they got pounded by the run. Just look at the early game against Tennessee.
Well, either way, this one, Cowboys win.
Yeah, I've got Cowboys winning. All because of the run game.
This is a horrible matchup.
Zeke's going to win this game.
This is a terrible matchup. The Seahawks can't pass protect. The Cowboys' pass rush is great.
Yeah. Everything is against.
They got Zeke to deal with.
Yeah.
I love me some Russell Wilson, but Cowboys. And I hate picking the Cowboys.
Everyone hates picking the Cowboys.
Dan, how about you?
No, I've got them eliminating each other and just going for a tie because I'm due one this year. How funny would it be if they tied the game? Because it does eliminate both.
That'd be great. They're two of the teams I'm most dislike in the NFC. So that'd be wonderful. And next up, we got the Giants and the Cardinals.
Ugh.
Irrelevant. Game is irrelevant. Cardinals win. Next game.
Giants win.
Drew Stanton leads the Cardinals.
Drew Stanton starting.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Giants win.
This is going to be a game of two of the worst O-lines in football.
If we get last week's Giants, then I think the Giants win.
I think the Giants win this game.
I'm not going to disagree.
You're going Giants?
I am, yes. Although Conboy's talking and I'm getting no audio feedback. Have you muted yourself? Still can't hear you. let's say Conboy agrees it's going to be the Cardinals. Conboy believes in Drew Stanton. Oh, nearly back.
I said Cardinals.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the Giants team. This is one of those where I'm put it down to coaching and effort, and the Cardinals have both of those things.
True.
So, got the double header coming up on Monday.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Oh, man.
Do you mean double
These games
steamroll?
have a lot of potential. I can kind of see what they were thinking. They haven't worked out that way. Deshaun Watson's injuries ruined the first game as the Steelers are heading to Houston to take on the Texans. I mean, we saw what happened to the Texans this weekend, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Steelers are going to murder them.
Yeah. Here's your blowout for the week.
Yeah, here's your... Don't even bother. Like, it's Christmas Day. I'm sure you got some nice new things that you can go to. I mean, I will watch it because...
Yeah, I mean, just let the
Texans break like 500 yards from scrimmage.
All the Texans want to do is because they surely know this game is done. Just let the Steelers run all over you. Let them chew up all that clock. Let the game go really quick, and then you can get back.
They need to tank so that the Browns get a better draft pick.
Yeah,
get the Browns to like the 1 and the 3 draft pick. So yeah, Steelers, easy one. And then after, we've all got the Steelers. I'm not even gonna. I don't need to ask you guys. Come on, we've got eyes. And after that, we got the Raiders and the Eagles. This, to me, actually could be a sneaky Raiders win because it just feels like something they do. The game's basically meaningless at this point.
Yeah.
And they just spoil the Eagles' party. I'd be concerned. If the Eagles lose this game, colour me concerned. Because, man, the Raiders have been bad. They played okay at the weekend, but they're just not a good team. So I'm still taking the Eagles, but...
I've got to take the Eagles. The Raiders have been so bad. I just can't.
Dan? Bird or Pirate?
Eagles.
Yeah, there's a part of me that just really dislikes the Raiders this year because I like the Raiders, but this year they're just disappointed so much. It's like looking at a Buccaneer mirror. What was it with the 2 Pirate teams? You were meant to be good.
Yeah.
We were meant to have, 2002 Super Bowl rematch. It's meant to happen.
Bold.
Well, yeah, enough of my sadness. So, there we have it. Don't see any major shocks coming out of this playoff race at the moment, do we?
Nah.
Does look like the Cowboys, though. They're going to have a legitimate chance at it. With Zeke back. I think that could be the most interesting bit. Either way, a good, team with a good record is going to miss out in the NFC. Possibly 2. We could see 2 10-6 teams miss out. I don't think I've seen that happen before.
No.
Is there anything anyone else wants to cover before we wrap up?
Yeah, fire Terry Robinski.
So the general fire my coach that I dislike.
No, coach. I don't mind Malarkey.
I said coach, not head coach.
Oh yeah, fire him.
Yeah, being poor. Dan, is anyone you want to see fired from the Cardinals?
No.
In fact, this can be a quick eradication section. So, who do we want gone from our franchise? Right, I don't ever need to see Chris Conte playing as a starting role ever again. Ever. Mike Smith, you have to demonstrate that you've got higher standards than what this defense has shown this year. Who else do I not ever need to see again? I don't need to see JR Sweezy. Just cut him. He's not good at this game. And Doug Martin, his time is done. Absolutely done. Being benched for Monday night because of breaking team rules. He's gone. He had his chance. He blew it. He's a muppet. He's done.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He does seem to have found a running back.
That's it off the top of my head. I'll look into it a bit more and have a big old run for a Bucks episode tomorrow.
Yeah, for me, the coaches I want gone would be Rubitsky and our special team coordinator. He's been very poor this year. And I mentioned this before, but I want Quinton Spain gone.
Fair enough. Dan, any particular players you want rid of?
No, not really. I mean, we need to stop hiring Old Man Dan to be back every other bloody year for a start. That'd be quite nice.
He's been all right.
I don't care.
It's like a Ross and Rachel relationship.
Yeah, I know. And Buddha Baker hasn't worked out that well so far, but yeah.
He's a
been
Pro
great
Bowl
on
special teamer.
He's been absolutely fantastic on special teams.
Well, I can safely say, as a team that's meant to be competitive, I don't give a toss about special teams, provided they do a job.
Hey, no one rates special teams with more importance than Bill Belichick. So,
Or Arnie.
I love my special teams.
Also, Belichick is.
We've got us a Pro Bowl punter here. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and you've also got to bear in mind that Baker is coming into one of the more complicated defensive schemes in the league, and they've used him in multiple roles. It's not particularly easy to play a bit of nickelback, a little bit of linebacker, and a little bit of safety.
Yeah.
And also be a special teams demon. I mean, hell, he's probably a couple of injuries away from being the quarterback.
I'm pretty sure our fourth string quarterback is actually Patrick Peterson.
I think it is, actually.
That wouldn't surprise me. Or Fitz, he can just throw the ball to himself.
No, Jimmy Garoppolo did that.
Everyone loves when that happens. We'll call it there. So thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. As always, like, share, subscribe, check out Patreon, all that good stuff. Got more stuff going up. Is there going to be a Titans episode this week?
Probably not. I'm really busy this week.
Fair enough. So Bucks episode tomorrow, the usual next week. Keep tuned for playoff time and the off season. There's going to be a lot more interesting stuff. I think we're going to do a bit of a revamp of the channel, and it's going to be good. So keep an eye out, and we'll start. Maybe we'll start being active on Twitter. That'd probably.
Speak for yourself. I always advertise, although I like the way as the producer.
No, that's not being active on Twitter, is it?
I also like the way, as the producer, I'm only just told right now that we'll be revamping the channel. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I'm not. No, I would have told you if we're going to revamp the aesthetic. What I mean is, there's going to be a lot of new show ideas. I have a big old discussion. I've already got a good few ideas, and one of the main things I want to have are like little segments, like your tie of the week, and each week you can have a different tie in the image, and then talk about your game that you think will be a tie.
Come on.
I'm just spitballing here.
We can talk about this after.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Been good, and go Bucks.